Hello and welcome to Kim's Cozy Corner. Y'all, I've been busy, but the one thing that I haven't done that we're going to do today is give you a full GreenStalk update on all 17 or so. I've lost count on how many GreenStalks I have, but we're going to do an update on every last one of them. I'm going to show you how things are growing, what I've moved out, and what I'm getting ready to put in. Come on and let's have some fun. Okay, y'all, I said I had 17 GreenStalks. Outside, I only have 15 GreenStalks. And then I have 2 that are indoors that we're not using right now. But we're going to do the full GreenStalk update. I'm going to show you all the GreenStalks, how they're doing, and what's coming, and what we just harvested, and all those kind of good things. And we are going to start over here at the neighbors. So I have 2 GreenStalks in this space over here. And I manage this space for those who are new to my channel. So this is my neighbor, and then my garden is just over there. Boy, this exposure is not so great. But I do both of these gardens. I take care of them, I plant them up, and the only thing my neighbors need to do is water and harvest, and enjoy the harvest, I should say. Anyway, let's talk about what I have planted in the 2 GreenStalks over here. In this GreenStalk, I planted out super early with the Muncie crew a while back. I have in the very top, we have carrots growing all the way around in this one. And y'all, I harvested some carrots last night to give to Buttons, and she really enjoyed them. So carrots in the top all the way around. In the next tier, all the way around. Now this is a leaf planter, by the way. Coming down, we have some lettuce, and a lot of this lettuce is starting to go to seed. We have 6 pockets of nothing but celery, and my neighbors absolutely love celery. I don't love celery. I like to cook with celery, but I don't like to eat celery, but they do. You can see they've been harvesting the celery and leaving some for later all the way around. There's some lettuce that they've been working on as well. That was lettuce down there. They've cut it all the way back, and we'll replace that one soon. Because you can see here that the lettuce is going to seed. Like I said, it's been out here since April, y'all. In the very bottom, we have onion growing in the very bottom. And y'all, the onion's not doing so great. So one of the things about this particular GreenStalk, you can see the bottom is completely surrounded by flowers. And I don't forget what kind of flowers they are, but they're completely surrounded, which means that the bottom's not getting any sun, y'all. If I come around to the other side, you see it's completely surrounded. And the sun is over here. So no matter where I turn this GreenStalk, that bottom tier is not going to get the benefits of the sun because of the flowers here. But that's okay. Those onion down there have been keeping the squirrels off of it, so we'll take that as a win. But this is GreenStalk number 1. Mostly cool season crops in there. It's time for us to start thinking about succession planning for this GreenStalk. Moving over to the next GreenStalk in here, we have broccoli in the bottom. And then above there, we got, I think, more broccoli, y'all. Some more broccoli there. I got cucumbers growing in here as well. And in the very top, I have just a few tomato plants growing in here. It says Red Robin, but y'all, these are really orange hat that I transplanted over here just yesterday from my garden. Now this one truly is Red Robin. So micro dwarf tomatoes in the top. And the way they've been doing their broccoli, they don't do like I do, take the big center head. They just take what they want to eat. So they did take the big center head. They're going to need to come back and take the side shoots. But by doing it that way, y'all, they're letting some of it go to seed, right? They're opening up and they're flowering. So maybe I'll get over here tomorrow and I'll go ahead and cut all of this back for them. Some people believe you can't grow broccoli in a GreenStalk. Now this green stalk is an original green stalk. They got 10-inch deep pockets, and it can handle broccoli and cabbage and cauliflower and eggplant and all those type things. And I have some of that growing over in my garden as well. But over here, a tier or two of broccoli, and now we got the cucumbers coming in as well. Now I'm going to have to get over here and get some trellising put on now that the cucumbers are really starting to sprawl out a little bit. This is called a Honey Plus cucumber. It's the first year that I've ever grown it. Here's a picture of it. So hopefully we'll get a nice cucumber growing over here in the green stalk. But broccoli, cucumbers, and tomatoes growing over here. And this little red robin tomato, they are growing their little tomatoes on there. So that's the only two green stalks that we have over here. We got this one here and that one way back there. So that's 2 of the 15 that I'm going to show you today. Before I go into my main garden and show all of the great things that I'm growing in the main garden, I do have one green stalk that has nothing in it but flowers. I gave it to my mom and I said, hey mom, go crazy, have at it, do what you want to do. And I grew her some flowers from seed indoors so she wouldn't buy any, y'all. I tried. That's what I tried to do. Anyway, let me show you that green stalk next. So y'all, I am in front of my all flower green stalk right here. And mom put it together and the goal was to put all impatiens in this green stalk. But y'all, I had a few petunias that said, I'm not done producing. And I got petunias that came back from last year. So a few pockets of petunias, but everything else are impatiens, but everything came from Kim's Cozy Corner and did not come from the big box store or the nursery or anything like that. We grew everything from seed or volunteered from last year. Now let me step back and show you the entire green stalk of flowers. Now what I wanted to do was grow a variety of impatiens, but I wanted all of one color in the green stalk. But unfortunately, my travel schedule and my lack of paying attention to everything, I lost quite a few of my starts. So we had to take everything we had to start this green stalk up. But y'all, look at some of these pretty colors. Look at that, these little stripes. And look at that one right there. So everything I had is in here, multiple colors, different shades, but it's still a very pretty green stalk, even though there are a couple pockets of petunias. Now this is the only place I decided to put all flowers, but I do have 1 or 2 flowers in other green stalks, but that's the only one that's 100% flowers. Now let's start moving back over into the garden area so you can see how all the other green stalks are doing. So we've already talked about 3 of 15. So let's work on green stalk number 4 now. So we are just off of my patio area. The back door is right there. And again, these are my spring green stalks. I set them up very, very early in the year. This one is 100% collard greens. We've harvested them 2 or 3 times, y'all. I done lost count, but y'all, it seems like now we're harvesting every 2 to 3, every 2 weeks. We're harvesting every 2 weeks. This is a leaf GreenStalk, right? So 7-inch pockets versus the 10-inch pockets. And we are growing collard greens. And there are many different varieties of collard greens in there. Get off them white butterflies, y'all. I can't stand them. Anyway, I started getting a little bit of bug damage, so I treated them. I think that was last week or earlier in the week this week. But it looks good now, even though a white butterfly just left. And we will be harvesting off of this green stalk again in a couple of days. So the 2 tiers in the bottom, completely in the bottom, the 2 tiers, those were all transplants. And the top 3 tiers, I started from seeds, and we haven't harvested any of the top tiers yet, but you can see they're getting very, very close to needing to be harvested. To give you an idea of some of the different varieties, there's a green flash, There's the Georgia collard greens. There are Vats, Morris heading collard greens, Champion collard greens, and I believe that's it, y'all. I believe that's it. For GreenStalk number 5, it's going to be this one over here. Again, this is a cool season GreenStalk. It started out with herbs and lettuce and onion. So anything I need to season my food, I thought this is where we're going to put it. In the very top tier, I have basil. I have Genovese, Italian basil, sweet Genovese, I think is what it's called, Italian basil. In the top, I have holy basil as well in the top tier. And that's the only 2 basils that we have. Now, I've grown basil in this top tier now for several years. And you can see the remnants. Let's see if you can see the remnants. It's so dark. Let's turn it this way. There we go. These are the stems from last year. I left them in there. I'm going to let them compost in place. And then I sprinkled the seeds on this side over here and started these from seeds. Some of these I started from seeds indoors and transplanted them out, like the holy basil and some other things. Moving on down, I have parsley growing. And we've harvested parsley once and dried it already. So this is curly parsley. And then I have flat parsley as well. We've cut out all of the lettuce throughout this GreenStalk. So you're going to see places like this where there's nothing in there. Here's a big flushing of flat parsley that I need to go ahead and chop down and dry it out so we can save it. I have Thai basil growing in a couple pockets. I've never grown this before. The one thing that I'm finding is like it likes to grow straight up for me, and I don't know why. And it keeps flowering. Here's another one down here. It flowers a lot. And I just, like, am I messing up? I don't know, but it smells amazing. Moving on down, I got a couple onions growing in here. Rosemary that we started indoors. And y'all, this is, what is it called? If I can remember, I'll just put it up right here. But I got rosemary growing. Again, cut out more lettuce. And then again, more onion. Moving on down, more onion. I also have a ton of celery. But there's only like 2 celery plants in here, but y'all, that celery plant is thick. And I've harvested off of it a couple of times already, even though I don't like it, but I harvested, I gave it away to someone who likes to juice with celery. So they were able to enjoy the celery. I got some oregano in here as well. Man, it's so shady, you can't see. So there's some oregano right there. Some more curly parsley right there. Coming on down to the bottom, there's some thyme growing. Again, everything was started from seeds from my own batch, y'all. Here's some flat parsley that I need to get cut back as well. There's some lettuce that's trying to grow back. I got some sage down here as well. And again, a lot of empty pockets because we cut all the lettuce out. But that's GreenStalk number 5, y'all. GreenStalk number 5, there you go. All of my GreenStalks have these leaf lids on them to keep dust and debris and all kinds of stuff from messing up my watering system. But that's 4 and 5. And now we'll head over to the main garden. There's so much that I could show you in the main garden right now, but I'm going to focus just on the GreenStalks because I said this is a GreenStalk video. But y'all, the garden is doing amazing, but that'll be the next video. This one, we're going to focus on GreenStalk number 6, which is this one right here. In GreenStalk number 6, I brought this GreenStalk from indoors. It was in the indoor grow space. A lot of the tiers were anyway. In the very top of this GreenStalk, y'all, I'm growing tomatoes, and I'll go in close so you can see them. We started those indoors. And this GreenStalk just has a mixture of things. We have everything in here from tomatoes, cucumbers, pepper, celery, okra, lavender. I hope I didn't miss anything, but a lot of different things growing in here. So let's go up close and see how things are doing. And I want to start at the very, oh, and flowers. So I put a couple flowers in here. But these tomatoes, look at them, y'all. They look good. They look really good. Here's the name of this tomato right here for you. Look at all of that, y'all. Ooh, we're going to have good salad tonight. And look at all the green ones growing there. It's so big, I decided not to put anything in the pocket beside it so we can help support these micro dwarf tomatoes up there. In addition to the tomatoes, the cucumbers are doing well, which we started a few weeks ago. They all came up. Pick a bushel right here, dars right here. We'll work our way down. The peppers, started all of them from seed. Now this is hot peppers. All the peppers over here are some type of spicy pepper. I got everything from serrano to cayenne to poblano, Anaheim. I think that's about it over here. More cucumbers, more peppers, lots of blooms too, by the way. Lots and lots of blooms. Now this is an original. These are 10-inch deep pockets. Oh yeah, more celery, even though I don't like celery. Celery's there. What is this? This is a, let me turn it around a little more. Mulatto. Poblano is what it's supposed to be, but that don't look like no poblano, y'all. I don't know. It might be, but blooms, little baby peppers, celery. And down here in the bottom, I have okra. I've never grown okra in a green stalk, but I have okra growing down here. Just a couple plants, 2 and 2 right here. These are called baby Buddha okra. Here's a picture of it. And it says that they stay kind of short. That's why I put them in here. I got a beautiful Anaheim plant right here. Oh my goodness, it's beautiful. Anyway, that's what's growing down here. That was a lavender plant that just didn't make it, y'all. But here's one that's doing really well. So I think there's 2 lavender plants in the bottom. GreenStalk number 6, doing amazing with tomatoes that's been growing since the winter from indoors. There are still a couple empty pockets in this one. We will come back and make sure we fill them in with something, because we can't have empty pockets like that one down there. Let's keep moving on. So here's GreenStalk number 7, and there's all of the lettuce that went to seed that we pulled out of it just yesterday. So this one has empty pockets for sure. In the top, we have all carrots growing in the top, and they're doing amazing. And then this whole next tier, that was 6 pockets of nothing but lettuce that's all over there on the ground. So we need to replace these 6 pockets. The next tier had onion in it, and the onion's still there. Some of them are doing okay, and some of them just not doing well at all. But look at that one. That one's doing really, really well. It's starting to bulb up. But something's been digging, and this one's just barely hanging on. So anyway, onion in that tier, and then in the very bottom, y'all, are my herbs. So I got rosemary. So I got 2 pockets of everything. So we got a pocket of rosemary, a pocket of chamomile, and y'all, it's so thick. I'm afraid I'm not going to get blooms on my chamomile, but we will see what happens. I might have need to separate that out and thin that out a little bit. And then next to the chamomile, I have my verbena. So this is verbena. I just found this herb this year. And y'all, I have fallen in love with verbena, lemon verbena. I'm drinking it in my teas. I use lemon verbena in my soaps to get that very strong lemon smell. And that's right, y'all. You heard me say soaps. So I'm working on a project. You're going to hear a lot more about it very soon, where I've taken basically this love for gardening and eating healthy to finding ways to have that same kind of effect on the outside of the body to give you a spa-like experience. So you're going to start hearing you're going to hear more about soaps and body butters and lip balms and herbal teas and all that kind of stuff coming real soon. But right now, I'm not ready to talk about it, but it'll be here real soon. We'll talk more about it later. But these are the herbs growing in GreenStalk number 7. So we need to get back out here and plant something in that tier right there. But for the most part, this GreenStalk's looking amazing. Now we're starting to move over into the 2 GreenStalks that I really put so much attention on. And that's my sweet peppers in this one. And over there, that's my dwarf tomato GreenStalks. So for my sweet peppers, I usually do 24 plants in this GreenStalk. Well, in order to get enough sweet peppers to everybody, so I wanted to have sweet peppers here, I wanted to have sweet peppers over at the neighbors, I wanted to have sweet peppers, at the community garden. So I had to kind of divide and conquer because I lost, again, a lot of my starts to neglect. That's all. It's just my neglect. That's the only reason I lost them. I didn't up pot, I didn't water, and you get what you get in those situations. So because of that, I wasn't able to put 24 pepper plants in my GreenStalk because I wanted everybody else to have a few. So I didn't get 24 pepper plants in here, but I did get a lot of sweet peppers in here. So beautiful paprika down there, Marconi. I got a yellow monster growing down there. Thunderbolt, my absolute favorite sweet pepper. They got blooms on them. They're looking good. This is, this is a red bell pepper right here that's got blooms on it. So I'm still very happy with how things are turning out. And y'all, these paprika peppers, y'all, they're not playing around. They're putting peppers on here and over at the neighbors. So it's not in their GreenStalk, it's in the main garden. I got the Costa Rican in here, but I put all of my favorites for sure over here. Oh, there's a chocolate beauty in here as well. So that's going to be a chocolate bell. And y'all, the paprikas, y'all, look at this. These paprikas are not playing. Now, this type of paprika pepper, so here's a picture of it right here. Now, I've grown paprika peppers before, and I thought they were a sweet paprika pepper. Y'all, they were spicy, a mild spice, but still spicy. It kind of caught us off guard. So I researched and I found this Hungarian paprika pepper, and it's supposed to be super sweet. And I'm trying to grow as much as I can so I can dry them and use them as my dried paprika powder like I use at home versus having to buy it. So lots of paprika growing. The seeds did amazing. Of all the seeds that I had, those pepper seeds did better than anything else. And I got them from Renee's garden, but paprika's on point this year. And for where I didn't have enough peppers, I thought I would go ahead and bring in more of the dwarf tomatoes or micro dwarf tomatoes over here. So here's a tomato plant right here, micro dwarf tomatoes growing. Got some more tomatoes growing right here. What is this one? This is a sweet scarlet growing right here. Now I always put my shishitos in the top, and I only got a couple plants of those that came in. This is a chocolate miracle, and there are lots of flowers and stuff on there. That's a new one for me this year. And there's still a couple empty pockets in here that we need to fill in with something. Moving on over to the next GreenStalk. Now this is the dwarf GreenStalk. Now I put micro dwarf in the top, tomatoes, different types, and then I put dwarf, semi-dwarf, any kind of tomato plant that stays short in stature. So anything less than 3 feet, I will put in this GreenStalk. Now it may be determinate, it may be semi-determinate. It doesn't matter as long as it stays nice and short and compact. I put all of my trellising on just yesterday, and all of the pockets I think did pretty well. I did lose one there, but y'all, they're coming in, there are blooms on them, they're happy. There's some tomatoes on some of these somewhere. I saw them. So I have wild spud leaf in here. That's one of them, wild spud leaf. I have the bush steak from Burpees, I think is where I got my bush steak from. I got Tasmanian chocolate. I have a Fred's tie-dye. There's some little tomatoes growing on there, right there, some tomatoes. Now, y'all, this right here, this plant that starts down here and is all the way up here and have little tomatoes on it, y'all. I don't know what that is. Now, it's labeled a wild spud leaf, but that's not a wild spud leaf. It's been mislabeled. But y'all, it's putting tomatoes on. It was the first one to put tomatoes on, and it's very happy, and I hope it stays happy. So in the very top, I always like to put micro dwarf tomatoes because I don't want plants way up high that I got to figure out how to support. So I always put micro dwarf in the top. And so I ran out of micro dwarf tomato plants. So I took my orange hat tomatoes that I had been growing indoors and I smushed up a tomato, covered it up with soil, and y'all look at those tomato plants coming up. And I took plants from here and took them over to the neighbors to finish out their green stalk as well. There's some more. There's some more in that one as well. So that's how I was able to fill up all of the pockets. These are Cherry Falls tomatoes. They're part of my seed bundle that I have with GreenStalk. So there's a Cozy Corner seed bundle with GreenStalk and some more of those orange hat tomatoes that I just squished up tomatoes to get to start some plants in that pocket. I got a golden gypsy there, right? There's a chocolate lightning in there, right? There's a lot of different kinds. And so I'm just trying to give you an idea of some of the things that I have. This is a Sasha Alta or something like that. That one's new to me this year. There are little tomatoes on it up here. Now, when I'm growing tomatoes in my GreenStalk, I always use an original planter with the 10-inch deep pockets for my tomatoes. I don't skip pockets. I fill every pocket up. And I've been doing this now for about 4 or 5 years. I've lost track, to be honest with you. All right, so let's keep moving through all of the GreenStalks. This GreenStalk right here, I started indoors. Actually, I started this GreenStalk indoors in my dining room. So these tomato plants I started very early, a long time ago, and they were looking pretty rough. So I gave them a good fertilizing just yesterday, and they're already starting to bounce back a little bit. But these are Cherry Falls tomatoes as well. And y'all, there are a lot of tomatoes on there, a lot of tomatoes, like tomatoes for days. When I start harvesting these tomatoes really soon, I'm going to be in trouble. There's going to be so many coming in. I bet you I'm not going to be able to give them away because it's going to be so many. But when they come in, they're going to start coming and they're not going to stop. Now, this is an original planter as well, and this one only has 3 tiers. Like, you don't have to have a 5-tier GreenStalk, y'all. That's a 5-tier original, and this is a 3-tier original, but you don't have to have all 5 tiers. You can make it to the height that makes sense for you. In the top, I have Supremo cucumbers trying to grow, and y'all, they weren't looking good at all. I'm hoping with the fertilizer yesterday that we put on there that they'll get happy again. And then there's some more cucumbers. You see how bad they look over here? So yeah, hopefully these cucumbers will bounce back. If not, I got more in other places. In the next tier, I got some shishito plants, I think. Yes, shishito. They're green and super, super happy. This is a cabbage plant right here. Let me go back up this way. I think it's just now getting ready to start heading up. So let's see how that cabbage is going to do. Right here is an eggplant. And there are people who said you can't grow eggplants in a GreenStalk. Well, y'all, this eggplant is looking pretty good and it's healthy and it's starting to put flowers on. So with flowers, hopefully we will have eggplants very soon. Got some basil growing right here as well, and that's Genovese, Italian Genovese basil or sweet basil or something like that. Is part of my seed bundle with GreenStalk. And another paprika. In the very bottom, y'all, I'm getting very creative down here. I have melons growing down here, and I have squash growing down here. I forgot which one it is. And I had some empty pockets. So with empty pockets, y'all, I put in some tomato or some flowers. But we got zucchini and melons and flowers growing in the bottom of this one. We're experimenting this year. So in that green stalk, again, looking kind of ragged there, but I believe we're going to be okay since we gave it a good fertilizing yesterday. I like to fertilize my green stalks, or actually my whole garden, about every 10 to 14 days with a liquid fertilizer. The liquid fertilizer I use is called Grow Big, but there are lots of different ones out there. I don't like the fish emulsion because it stinks and I can't stand to be around it, but Grow Big has been working for me, and it's kind of general. I can use it on everything. It's not too acidic or too basic or whatever, right? I can use it on everything. It's a nice middle of the road type liquid fertilizer. So I just did that yesterday. By the time I give you the next GreenStalk update, y'all, I'm expecting this GreenStalk right here to be looking amazing. The next 3 GreenStalks, this lemon GreenStalk right here, the green one, and the stone, all have strawberries in them. This one I set up first, and I transplanted all brand new strawberries into this one. And y'all, most of the strawberries never make it indoors, just to be honest with you. They just don't make it. We eat it out in the garden and we call it good. Nice little garden stack when we are out here working. I do have a couple empty pockets in here, but it's full, it's happy, and now it's warming up. So I'm not expecting too many more strawberries until we get a little later in the summer, but we still should get a few here and there. This GreenStalk right here had strawberries that came back from last year, or that I transplanted from other beds into this GreenStalk because I did some rearranging of beds and stuff over there. So I started with probably 30 or 40 empty pockets in here. And as the plants are growing, I set them down in a pocket like this. They'll take root and then they'll fill in all the empty pockets as well. But it's looking good. And for this one over here, I kind of did the same thing, y'all. I had a few transplants left after I did that one. And so we have a few pockets with transplants, and we have a few pockets where we have strawberries that came back from last year or we transplanted in. I got a few of these strawberry pockets here that I need to get some more soil in, but I'm out of soil, that we can use to help take those runners and turn those runners into new strawberry plants for us. So I'm growing strawberries in the leaf planters. That's 42 there, that's 42 there. And then this lemon one is 5 tiers in the original, so the 10-inch deep pockets. I live in Southwest Ohio, right? So we can have some pretty cold winters up here. And we had probably the worst winter I've ever seen since I've lived in Ohio, and I've been here for about 20 years now. And it killed a lot of stuff. And so I thought I had lost all of my strawberries just because of how hard the winter was. So I was talking to the GreenStalk folks, and they were like, well, did you bring it indoors? Did you cover it up? Did you do anything? And I said, absolutely not. It was too cold to go out there to think about those strawberries. But they told me that if I had the deeper pockets, that'll probably help me ensure that the strawberries come back from year to year, which they did come back in the leaf planter, but they'll come back even better in the original planter. So I have the 1 original planter and then 2 leaf planters of strawberries. So hang in there, y'all. We're almost done. We only got 2 GreenStalks to go. The next one that I want to talk about is this one right here, y'all. This one we brought outdoors. The top 2 tiers we brought from indoors, and the bottom 3 tiers, we set them up out here with transplants. And in the bottom 2 tiers, I had mustard growing, And I just cut it all out. So there's the mustard on the ground that I just cut out because it's all going to seed. I've harvested the mustard for the last time this year. So we cut it out and we're going to need to replace it with something. There's some more that I cut out. Now this one looked okay, so I left it in here, but it is going to seed right there. So we might pull those out and be able to enjoy those. But I also have in the bottom here, yeah, I think that's broccoli, purple broccoli growing down here in a couple different pockets. I also have some purple cabbage growing in here as well. There's some kale in here. A lot of different things, y'all. A lot of different things growing in here. There's more kale growing right here. Cabbage right here. So a variety of things are growing. And then as you move up, I got cabbage growing right here. I have melons in a couple pockets on this one as well. And I'm just going to keep working my way up. Right here, some more little plants that I just started. I think those are melons as well. I have onion that we've got growing as well in here. I had an empty pocket, so guess what? I put a flower in there, y'all. I got cucumbers growing in the top, and this is Wisconsin SMR. And again, y'all, they were yellow. So I got them fertilized yesterday. They're a lot happier. Here's another one of those tomato plants that's just super, super happy. Blooms for days. I do believe this is my cherry falls. I think. I could be wrong. Yeah, I don't know. And I don't want to dig in that pocket to find out, but it's absolutely gorgeous. Blooms and tomatoes everywhere on there. It's either cherry falls or red. And here's both, cherry falls and the other one that it could be. Moving to the top, like I was talking about, cucumbers up there. Y'all, these are just spring onion that I need to take care of. They are out of control, spring onion. And beside the spring onion, y'all, I'm growing bulbing onion as well. So these are bulbing up. Actually, this one is bulbing up to the point where it's lifting the top watering reservoir off. And so I may have to go ahead and pull this one off, or I'm going to lose the top reservoir, one or the other. Something's going to have to give up in that space up there. But we started these onion indoors and brought them outdoors. So y'all ready to talk about the last GreenStalk, GreenStalk number 15? That's what we're going to start talking about next. GreenStalk number 15 is the biggest experiment I've ever done in one of my GreenStalks. So this GreenStalk got a little bit of everything going on. It's got flowers that are coming back from last year, right? I didn't know they were going to come back. So they got flowers coming back. And I'll be honest with you, I don't remember these flowers being in all of these pockets either, but they're absolutely gorgeous and they came back from last year. In the top, I got Roma 2 green beans in memory of Grandpa, and that was his favorite green beans. So we got that in the top. In the next tier down, y'all, we have melons growing, and it looks like only one or two made it. Only one melon made it on that next tier, and that's the only one that made it right there. So we're going to have to go in and fill in these empty pockets with something. And I have some extra flowers, so I may just put flowers in there. And coming on down, I got melons growing in this tier and the tier below it, all melons growing. And I'm hoping to get a bumper crop of melons this year. Anywhere where I had an empty pocket, I put in a flower, y'all. On the bottom tier down here, I have melons and yellow squash growing. And right now, all I see are the melons. I don't think the yellow squash germinated. It didn't. The yellow squash did not germinate. So we're going to have to replace the yellow squash with some other type of squash to grow down here with the melons. And since I'm growing so many melons in this one GreenStalk, I put 3 of the trellises on here so that we can capture the melons as well as have the yellow squash come out and lean against it there. But y'all, that is my experiment GreenStalk right there with flowers, beans in the top, melons, and squash. We got through it, y'all. All 15 green stalks growing on the property and my neighbor. And we're in June, and so I think everything is doing really well. We just fertilized everything. I believe that's going to make some of these explode. And y'all, we're going to be harvesting tomatoes like maybe in a week, if that, well, less than that, because I see some over there that's got my name on it right now. But y'all, that's the GreenStalk update. I hope you enjoyed the tour of the GreenStalks. And I hope you come back and hang out with me as I'm showing you how the whole garden is doing in addition to the GreenStalks for this upcoming season. See you back here again real soon, everybody. Bye.